welcome to my channel. Where do I begin? I guess at the beginning. Weight loss, or should I say my weight, has always been an issue. My entire life, pretty much since I was 8 years old. That's when I really started to gain weight. And it just never seemed to stop. We, and by we I mean my family, we on my mother's side are traditionally pear-shaped women, hence the name aka Pear. And it's very pronounced on her side of the family. I'm 5'4", and my brother is probably like 5'11", and then my dad is very tall, very slim. He's 6'4", and so I did not pick up much from him in the way of my physical structure per se. I got the majority of that from my mother. I look a lot like both of them, you know, and so what could be attributed to him would be my looks, but my size and my weight definitely comes from my mother's side of the family. They're all very hippie, very wide in the lower half, and with me being so short, it's very, very noticeable. You know, all the time people would, you know, tell me all the time, you know, you're extremely pear-shaped, and you know, I knew it as well, and so it just kind of became like my moniker. In terms of my weight, like I said, I was fine up until like 7 or 8, and then all of a sudden it just came, you know. And I loved food. I've always had this love affair of food, you know, or with food, and it's become one of those things where food became my drug of choice. So I felt like I lived to eat, you know. I wouldn't say I was a binger, or I am a binger, or anything like that, but there has been the occasional binge. With that being said, food addiction is very real, and my story is all over the place, but it started when I was very young. I think I developed this love affair with food when I was growing up with my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. I spent a lot of time with this lady, and she was my best friend in the whole wide world. I mean, my absolute best friend. And she and I would have fun just doing the most simplest things. Like, I'm from the country, I'm sure y'all can tell in my voice and hear it, and you know, things like that. But we would sit on the porch and shell peas, and that would just be amazing to me. You know, it was just the very simple things with her and I. And she lived alone, and a lot of times I was there with her, so we would just keep each other company, have fun, and my grandmother loved to cook. You know, and this is my paternal grandmother. Grandmother wasn't heavy by any means. She was a little bit top heavy, but that's about it. And so I guess they didn't really see it as anything at that age, you know, or they didn't really see that it was going to become a problem, because that was how they showed love. And by they, I was basically the neighborhood's baby, and so they would all spoil me. And you know, they didn't have much, they didn't have a lot of money, so their way of showing love was with food. That's how they showed love. They fed you. You know, anybody could come by and get a plate, but me, I got extra special treatment. I got, you know, special cakes made for me, and pies, and you name it. If I wanted it, I could get it in terms of food. My grandmother's closest neighbor and best friend was like this amazing baker. I mean, she was a what we call in the South a scratch baker. She baked from scratch, no recipe, you know, and her cakes came out perfect every single time. Cakes, pies, whatever. She could just bake, and so or as we say, she could throw down. And so anytime I came over, you know, that's what they did. They fed me, and my grandmother would do what we call, again in the South, is that she would cook like she was feeding an army, but there was only her and I there, you know, and I was just allowed to eat whatever, you know, I wanted, how much I wanted. They never saw a problem with it. And so that continued on throughout, you know, my early childhood into my teenage years into adulthood. And so fast forward, you know, the teenage years, well, even in elementary school, I was bigger than most kids, but again, being pear-shaped, my weight showed up in other places. And it was very noticeable, and a lot of people would comment on it. I mean, yeah, the kids would comment, and of course, you know, teasing is expected and the norm for kids, but it was even the adults, it was that bad, you know. And so I had horrible nicknames like Big Booty K, and, you know, things that just really made me uncomfortable. But it didn't stop my eating, because I loved to eat. It didn't stop that. So throughout the years, I continued to gain weight, and once, you know, I became a teenager, that's when it really became like an issue for me. Like, okay, we gotta do something about this. So that began the yo-yo dieting cycle. And if there's a diet out there that exists that I haven't tried, I would be surprised. I tried almost everything under the sun, every pill, every potion, every quick fix. I mean, every shortcut, everything you could think of. Like I said, every old wives' tale to lose weight, and the cabbage soup, and, you know, the rapid weight loss pills, and, you know, there are a couple things that I did try, but not too many. There really isn't that many. So I would lose successfully some of the time, but it would always come back. It would always come back. And, you know, it continued into adulthood. And as an adult, you know, I continued the same thing. I tried everything under the sun. You know, I joined this program, I joined that program. I tried this silly diet, I tried that silly diet. And I was successful with losing some of the time. And then other times it would come back, plus some. And so when it came back plus some, it would just gradually come back, and then I would be like, I would get comfortable with it, and then it would start to bother me, and then the cycle would start all over again. So let's fast forward a little bit more. From 2015 to 2018, I believe, that's when I really noticed a huge change in my weight. I had never been out of the 200s in my adult life as far as I could remember. And I believe the lowest I had ever been in high school, maybe in my freshman year, was 180, 190, maybe 215. I don't know. I think it was, I wasn't in the 180s until I graduated. I was close to graduation. So almost graduation time, I went on a diet, and I lost probably a good 30-40 pounds and got down to like 185. So that's the lowest I remember being after that year. And then in my adult years, like right after I graduated, like I said, it came right back. And I think, you know, the early years after graduation, I ballooned back up to 2+ and haven't seen anything out of the 2s since then. And that was well over 19 years ago. So from 2015 to 2018, the weight, it seems like I was averaging about 20 pounds a year. And I was probably like 240. Yeah, I was about 240 in 2015. And then, so 2016, I was around 260. 2017, I was 280. And then 2018, I was 300+. And that did it for me. That scared me so bad. I'm not sure why I thought I wouldn't hit the 300s at the rate I was going, but when it did, I didn't know how to deal with it. It was shocking. It was numbing. It was eye-opening. It was very eye-opening. And it was scary for me. And it was scary for me because, like I said earlier, we are pear-shaped on my mother's side of the family. However, I think some people don't realize that pears or people with pear-shaped bodies come in all different sizes. You can be a very small, petite pear-shaped person, or you can be a super morbidly obese pear-shaped person. And I have those in my family, very close in family. And I see what they deal with, and I just did not want to fall in that pattern. I didn't want that to be my reality. And so I had to do something about it. And so I made a decision to have weight loss surgery. And the type of weight loss surgery I have was a vertical sleeve gastrectomy, aka VSG. I had VSG on July 17th of 2018. And I will talk about that in another video. Thanks so much for listening to my ramblings now. I'll see you later.